Full spoilers for JJK265 are here. This time, the spoilers might be a bit disappointing for you, but I ask you to like and subscribe first, okay guys? And here are the spoilers for JJK265. Spoilers begin when Yuji expands his domain, but because this is not so familiar, makes Yuji ask, what is this place? We then see Yuji and Sukuna going down the escalator stairs while walking together. Sukuna said that he had experienced something like this before, a rare phenomenon related to a shaman during the peak of battle. Sukuna had thought that it was a side effect due to the cursed energy born from humans. However, it turned out to be something different. Sukuna then asked Yuji, "Is that your expansion domain?" But Yuji just told Sukuna to end his question, because Yuji did it all in a little panic. What's more, Yuji also didn't really understand. Then Yuji asked Sukuna to take the time to talk to him. Yuji then showed a statue in front of the building. It was the demon sword dance statue. However, Sukuna didn't care because he didn't know about it either. Yuji explained that no one but locals knew about it. They then went down the underground passage. Yuji told Sukuna that he lived in that place until he was 6 or 7 years old and then moved to Sendai. However, Yuji was actually born in Sendai. They lived there only because of his grandfather's job. Yuji went on to say that he came back here for the first time in 10 years, just to attend the funeral of his grandfather's friend. According to Yuji, this town wasn't a ghost town, but he was surprised that it was so empty. Hearing that, Sukuna was silent. Yuji went on to say that he wondered if that person would come to Yuji's grandfather's funeral if his grandfather died first. Later, they visited a park. Yuji told Sukuna that he often visited the park in the past. Yuji also told Sukuna that he sometimes cleaned the slime that fell into the sand in the fountain, but it was all in vain. Yuji then looked at the flower and said that it was glory flower, but Sukuna called Yuji stupid because it was hydrangea flower. The two of them continued to discuss flowers. Even Yuji just realized that there were many flowers blooming here after moving to Sendai. Yuji then asked Sukuna, "Does Sukuna know different flowers?" Sukuna replied that he learned things like that from Megumi's memories. Yuji again asked if Sukuna also knew everything about the place through Yuji's memories when he was in his body. However, Sukuna replied curtly that he didn't want to waste time thinking about memories like that. Yuji then told Sukuna that the park was quite far from his house, but Sukuna could catch crayfish in the park. Yuji then told Sukuna to try it and then said that unless the strongest shaman in history could not catch crayfish. Hearing that, Sukuna told Yuji to shut up and then brushed his hand away. Not long after, they had different shrimps. The two of them then head to the shopping center, where Yuji explains that the shopping center first opened when Yuji was 5 years old. Because of the shopping center, all the convenience stores disappeared. Even though it looked deserted, they opened a movie theater upstairs. Yuji told Sukuna not to worry because the shopping center wasn't natural. When they leave the city, more greenery will appear. However, Sukuna again rudely replied that he would not hold himself back for anything in that place. They then saw a large field. Yuji, who was amazed to see it, stated that it looked very green. In addition, Yuji thought that he could catch grasshoppers there, but no one had seen grasshoppers lately. Perhaps the pesticide had taken effect. Hearing that, Sukuna was silent and then asked, "Is it finished?" But Yuji told Sukuna to be patient because there were still a few more places he wanted to visit. They then saw 2 white horses, and again, Yuji explained that horses were indeed amazing. No matter how many times he saw them, their heads were still bigger than he remembered. Yuji's grandfather also often took him to the farm and made Yuji think that it turned out that his grandfather nurtured him more than his mother and father. Yuji then told Sukuna that on that day, Yuji spent his money to buy food, but because he ate too much, he couldn't bear it anymore and made him vomit. Sukuna then said, "Is that the day Yuji started his foolishness?" But Yuji immediately invited Sukuna to go archery. When Sukuna started to try it, he did very well, and it was right on target until Yuji praised him. However, Yuji felt that he wasn't that interested in Sukuna's game. Hearing that, Sukuna said, "It's obvious that Sukuna is better than Yuji at archery." So Yuji realized that it turned out that Sukuna came from the era of reliable archers. Yuji then told Sukuna that he would see many snow sculptures lined up during the Winter Snow Festival. Yuji was curious if the locals still did the festival. Actually, they do the same thing in Sendai, but there isn't too much snow. They then walked on the snow where Yuji said it didn't feel like winter unless the snow had really piled up. Because when Yuji was little, he would drink sweet milk tea after his hands went numb from shoveling snow in the morning. This made Yuji's grandfather always reprimand him when he blew into his glass of milk tea. Yuji then said that in the run-up to Christmas, he always heard bells ringing at night, so Yuji thought Santa did exist. But later, Yuji realized that it was just snow chains on the car tires. Hearing that, Sukuna began to get annoyed and asked Yuji to finish. Yuji agreed, because Yuji felt he had shown almost everything he wanted. The two of them then faced each other, where Sukuna cursed that Yuji's conversation was disgusting. Sukuna then asked, "What does Yuji want?" Yuji told Sukuna that until now, Yuji thought of staying alive to fulfill his role as he understood it. Yuji always thought that if he died, at least he could consider it a proper death. But now, Yuji felt that that was not entirely true. Because according to Yuji, walking the dog, raising a family, any role is fine. Or if you don't have any of those things, as long as you can eat, poop, and sleep, or lie in bed sick, even if you spend your life with no one and nothing left of you, just a small piece that makes a memory forms a person drifting to another place. That will give value to human life. It has nothing to do with how one should die. Yuji then said, "I won't be able to forgive anyone who acts as if values don't exist." Yuji firmly said, "Sukuna, I hate you. Humans are not tools. Humans are not born with a specific role." Yuji explained that he didn't know whether humans were inherently good or evil, but humans are not tools. We are not born with a certain role. Yuji then blamed himself. Maybe it was actually Yuji's fault that he let Sukuna see the humanity of someone other than himself, of someone Sukuna considered worthless. But Sukuna replied that he didn't feel anything. Sukuna understood everything Yuji said, but Sukuna didn't feel anything at all. It was the same as Yuji seeing if this city was very quiet. Then Sukuna tried to find the core of what Yuji said, but Yuji just asked Sukuna back, "So, don't you understand, Sukuna?" Then Sukuna was unexpectedly surprised to see how cowardly Yuji was. "Your anger towards me, your hatred, does it end there, Yuji?" Then Sukuna was suddenly surprised when Yuji crossed his arms while looking at Sukuna. Yuji said, "This is right on target. I can kill you right now." But Yuji asked Sukuna to let go of Megumi and return to Yuji's body. Then Yuji promised to save Sukuna's life. We finally see Sukuna, who returns to Yuji's body. Very angry, Sukuna promised not only to chop up Yuji, he would also slaughter all humans that Yuji considered valuable. Written in the final panel, a rejection that burns with anger. And the spoilers of Chapter 65, Jujutsu Kaisen, only go up to here. Maybe some of you will be disappointed in this chapter. I'm sure you will expect that this will be the final battle. But instead, we get a moment where Yuji spends time with Sukuna just for a study tour. But it is important to know that this is the power of Yuji's domain expansion, which is able to forcibly transfer Sukuna to his body in order to save Megumi. However, is Sukuna still able to change bodies again? Or is this the end of the King of Curses, Ryomen Sukuna? So what do you think, guys? I'm Nim. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye.